Okay, closing the sale. There's always a big topic. And again, remember, you have two hats on today, all right? You guys already know how to close. The thing again is what? Teaching to your team how to close well, okay? Because if I look at all your individual numbers, it's in the low 90s, majority of you guys, which is great, right? But when you dive into your team's numbers, it's in somewhere in the mid 80s to even high 70s, okay? So we know how to close. The problem is we don't show our people how to close. So let's go over some key basics and dive right in. Okay, so FYI, with closing comes what, right? Walkouts or customer retention. So either you close them or you don't, pretty much. Okay, so I just want to give you an idea of what our walkouts looked last year. So 2018, this is walkouts and people we had on hold that never finished. All right, so 966 walkouts in total throughout the entire year. Right, so when you see the numbers, it really hits home, right? So that's 20% of business loss. And when you add everything up, it comes up to $337,000. Right, this is just not closing out returns. Now, if you go even more deeper, that's $50,000 of bonus that could have been distributed out to people, right? Hiring about 8 full-time people, opening 4 new offices, and again, salary increases. All right, so I just want to give you an idea of where money doesn't go. Okay, so this is why closing is so important. Fair enough. All right, so let's talk about our customer retention opportunity. It's no longer called a walkout. When someone does not finish a return, it is now a customer retention opportunity. It's a second chance to get that client back in. Now, I do understand that we cannot make everybody happy. As a matter of fact, if we make everyone happy, then we're doing something wrong. Okay? We should have unhappy people at the end of the day. Okay? I mean, that's fair. We should have unhappy people at the end of the day. But we don't want a whole bunch of unhappy people at the end of the day. All right? So when we're talking about customer retention opportunity, we want to define it first. We want to recognize what it is. Okay? So the thing is, when you're a tax pro and you need to teach this to your people, is how to read body language. We all know when someone's uncomfortable, right? Whether they speak in, the way they look at you, the way they have the head down, we all can read when someone's uncomfortable, right? As a manager, you have to be able to jump in and notice this person is uncomfortable, or at the very least, teach your people to understand how a person looks when they're uncomfortable. And so give me an idea, how does a person look when they're uncomfortable?
Paying attention to their phones more than
they're paying attention to their phones. Oh, exactly like that. I've seen that a lot. It's like,
They're laid back.
Say that again?
They're laid back and slouching the chair.
They're laid back with a slouching chair. So this is a very good, this is a defensive mechanism. Like they're not gonna like what you're about to tell them right now. Either that or they got news. They're just ready to go. Yeah. Like who wants to sit? Right, absolutely. And another reason why you like that too is because you're not building rapport with them. So they just bored out their mind. Right? So you want to be able to read those body language. Right? Also, if you have a client who's not who you know is not going to close, or who tells you, you know what, I'm gonna go somewhere else, it's okay to ask why. Don't just let them go. Find out why. Like why don't you want to? Why do you feel reluctant to close with us or to sign off on it? Ask questions so we can handle the objections a lot better. A lot of times, what I see when we have objections is just miscommunication. Okay. Also, your team has to understand how to respond to these client objections, what we're going to talk about later on today. Now, your team also has to understand too, as a manager, that you have to understand, even if you're not around, they have to either call you or get you if there's a client objection, because you guys know how to close people. You guys know how to handle situations, right? Don't let a client walk out the door without you, at the very least, not knowing about it, okay? Now, what is a walkout? What is a customer retention opportunity? Okay, when a person leaves with their original paperwork, that's a walkout. I don't care what they say, hey, I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna come back. They're not gonna come back. And if they do come back, just be surprised that they came back, right? If they walk out with their paperwork, mark them as a walkout. Not a hold, not in process, whatever's left there. Just straight walkout. Okay? What will happen after it's marked out as a walkout, our customer service department will call them within 24 hours of seeing it on a database as a walkout. They have a list of procedures that will follow along to try to get the client to come back. Now, obviously, we're not going to do returns for $100 or anything like that, too. But again, we want to see if it's is a customer service issue. That they feel comfortable with the client. Normally, people do not finish the return with us for 2 reasons, right? They're not happy with the refund, or they're not happy with not the fees. They're not happy with what? Yeah, the customer. That's really it. If they say they're unhappy about the fees, it's a cover up for another reason why they're not happy, right? I could charge pretty much whatever I want to charge. I've never had any pullback. And I charge way more than a lot of you guys charge at the end of the day, right? The reason why is because people feel confident in me that I'm going to get a job right. So when you sit with a person, they'll pay whatever it is if they are confident in you. It's about confidence, right? The ladies love that. I'm preaching. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, but you gotta be confident too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the first lessons I teach, you are worth what you ask for. So don't sit down feeling like you're not go in it like I got millionaire tax tips on these fingers.
Right, and they should, and when they come sit with you, that's how they should feel. Like this person knows what they're doing. They're gonna get me the highest amount possible. Even if you lie. All right.
The positivity of the lie.
Mm-hmm.
I can correct you. I can make it right.
Fake it until you make it.
Own it.
Okay, so anyway, the customer service department is going to contact them with a list of procedures to try to get the client back. Every situation is going to be different. If the client's coming back, your office will be contacted that the client's coming back, and this is the steps. Okay, but the most important thing is to make sure you mark it correctly so we could attack them correctly. Well, I don't say attack, but go after them correctly. Okay. The best way to reduce a walkout or a CRO is stop it from happening, right? Responding ASAP. This is preparing versus repairing, all right? Managers, always introduce yourself to your client, okay? Every client that comes into the door needs to know that you're the manager of this office, right? So if you have a client and you're sitting with a client, so you're the client, you're the professional, right? I, as the manager, will come to, hey, how you doing? My name is Randy Page. I am the manager of this office. What's your name? Onika, you're sitting with a great person right here. She's going to help you out. She's going to hook you up, okay? If you have any questions, I'm right over there. Just that, okay? And this is not optional. This is required. Okay, this is another form of customer service, something that sets us aside differently from other people. When a client knows a manager and knows there is a manager and the manager introduce themselves to them, it brings you up another level. Okay, it also puts the professional on notice that you are around and that you're here. Follow what I'm saying? So every person that comes into the office, the manager has to introduce themselves. If the manager is busy, the professional, tax professional, will just simply say, once we're done, I'm gonna introduce you to my office manager. For any questions, you can definitely contact me or her. Now, they won't contact the office manager at the end of the day. They won't. Some of them will, but majority of people won't. It's just a form of customer service. All right, any questions with that? Yeah, definitely keep me calling corporate. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, making the client feel comfortable to ask questions. Okay, or state the objections. Body language of a client. Also follow up with the professional on Bro 6. Now, majority of you guys use Bro 6 really well. Last year is probably one of the best years I've seen people use Bro 6. And it's a great, great tool. You guys use it well. Continue to use Bro 6, okay? Now, the other step for reducing a walkout is stop it from happening on a tax pro level. Follow the 7 steps. They're very simple. Handle objections, follow those procedures, and log them properly as walkouts. So there are 7 steps to closing the sale. This is what you're teaching your people. 7 steps. Step 1 is what? Build rapport. Step 2 is what? Custody advance. Step 3 is what? Right. Step 4 is what? Step 5 is what? Step 5 is what? No, step 5 is what? No, this one, step 5. Step 5. That one is so important. It's so important because, again, they hear one number, and after that, all they hear is blah, 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 blah. Okay? Step 6 is what? Say that again. You sound excited. Say it again.
Because we do with enthusiasm. We give them $50, your $50, tell everybody about it. Mr. Grant is here. Yes, that's how we do it.
That's right. Give her a round of applause for that. That's right. Extra 10, tag you on Facebook. We're going to go over that. And next is fill out the 50-50 sheet and have them sign. Okay, so let's talk about the first step. And again, you guys know this. I just want you to understand it more in detail. And I need you guys to be able to teach it. Okay, so building a rapport. Now, when you're building rapport, you always start with an introduction about yourself and talk about the business too. Talk about your experience and state emphatically that this business has been open for 10 years. That longevity says a lot. We've been open for 10 years. Okay. Also, another strong statement is, I work for you, not the IRS. Let them know that off the bat. I'm not the IRS. I'm not here to serve them. I don't get paid by them. I'm here to advocate for you, not the IRS. Okay, another strong statement is, my job is to get you the highest refund possible. They like that, right? So just these 3 statements alone, okay? Talk about your journey. We've been open for 10 years. I work for the IRS. I work for you, not the IRS. Just want to make sure you guys are awake. Okay? And my job is to get you the highest fees possible. This is what you be telling your people to say all the time when they speak to everybody. Okay? Next one we talked about a second ago was manager introduction. Okay? Now, the manager should come over to the table and introduce themselves. Okay? If not, simply say, hey, once I'm done with the return, I'm going to introduce you to my manager. Okay? You're building rapport. You're making them feel more and more comfortable. Okay? Offer the client something. I don't think we do this enough. All right? Offer them coffee, popcorn, soda, chips, whatever you have in the office, offer it to them. Also, we ordered a whole bunch of coloring books. So all offices are gonna have coloring books for the kids. So, right, so if there's kids, give them color books and crayons. Huh? You're like, here, draw this. Didn't you give them, you create like a wall of,
I have a Liberty statue, had the kids color it, put their age on it, put on the wall. What I was gonna do was get like a $10, but I didn't think ahead to write down the parent's name and phone number on the back of the picture, so I couldn't pick anybody because I had no clue on But it was a thought.
But this is outside of us talking. I don't know any of this until I go into the office. So imagine going to Darlene's office, you see a wall full of kids' pictures. You know, right away, it seems like a welcoming place for children, right?
And the kids loved it, and I had it up to age 10, and I had this whole plan, but forgot the most important part. So I'm gonna do it right.
There are times when the parents' return is finished, I've noticed, and they will still have to wait until the kid finishes coloring their stuff before they can leave because they don't want to leave without putting that picture on the wall. All right, so it's things like that to help build rapport, to help make the office more of a home. Okay. The next thing you want to do is talk about the survey text. You want to get into it a little bit more tomorrow, but let the client know that once we're done here today, you will get a text, just asking you how I did, and just even joke with them. Just give me 10 so I can get paid. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay. Any question on that so far? So when you're building rapport, again, you want to watch your voice patterns. You want to teach this. You want to watch your voice patterns. High, low, right? So when you're building rapport, hey, with Dad, how you doing today? How you doing today with Dad? I'm doing awesome, Listen, thanks for coming in. I have something so excited to talk to you about. You see that? So my voice pattern goes high with excitement. When it's time to get serious, it goes low because she's gonna start paying attention as soon as it goes low. It goes high and it goes low. So when you're excited, talk excited, right? When it's something serious and you want them to really pay attention, talk low and talk to them directly face to face. Okay? Always look the client in the eyes. Clients are like pit bulls. They can sense fear. If you don't look the client in the eye, they know. Okay? Always smile. Smiling's so contagious, just like yawning. Okay? And keeping the client engaged. How's your day going? All right? Who did your taxes last year? Were there any changes? And find something in common. Now, this building rapport should take 15 minutes. Don't touch any computer. It takes 15 minutes to build a rapport. The idea is you want to get the customer as calm and relaxed as possible. Any questions on that? Again, you guys know this, but the issue is to follow through and teach it. All right, so we're building rapport. Is there a difference between building rapport with a new client versus a returning client? Yes, good. What's the difference between the two? Like, would you build rapport differently with a newer client than okay?
Because with an older client,
Questions would be different.
How are you and how you've been, that would go to an older client. But a newer client, you'll ask, how was your day? And you'll try to build it that way, but you've already got some sort of relationship with an older client. So the conversation will be a different.
Right, so you have to approach it a little bit differently because if it's a brand new client, they're gonna come in apprehensive, 9 out of 10 times. Okay, they're gonna come with a chip on their shoulders, or just expect that. So you wanna build a rapport a little differently. You wanna ask more in-depth questions, right? For example, who did you return last year? What did you not like about the place? What did you like about the place? And why are you making that change? Why would you ask the client a question like that? Who did return last year? What did you like about the place? What did you like about the place? Brand new client. Right, so you learn the expectation. It's about learning the expectation, right? A brand new client comes in, how'd you hear about us? Oh, what happened last time? Because if they were happy with the last place, they'll still be going to the last place, right? So what's wrong? What happened with the last place? Find out what's wrong so you could assure the client, well, this doesn't happen here. Okay, so it's about understanding the expectation. Okay, now who did the return from last year? Why is that an important question to ask? You guys a laser? I'm sorry. Who did you return? I think the answer is here anyway, but who did you return from last year? Mm-hmm.
And they weren't satisfied with the 5 people who did it. That's why they did it.
Right, absolutely. It's for more information, so you got to understand what you're giving to a client. Now, obviously, if the client says a name you never heard of, 9 out of 10 times our fee is going to be higher. If it's a mom and pop, fee is going to be higher. If it's H on the block, Jackson Hewitt, you have nothing to worry about. All right, but if it's, oh, my Aunt Peggy from down the street did it, our fee is going to be way higher. Okay, so at that point, you already know what to do. What would you do?
Explain our written guarantee. We're here all year.
Mm-hmm. You want to sell those benefits. You want to talk about those benefits, right? Because you're going to have an idea. This person may be a little price conscious because they're coming from a place that does returns for $75 to $100. So we're going to talk about our written guarantee. We're going to show them our customer service. The fact that we open year round, the fact that we have a CPA on board, the fact that we do all these double checks, the fact that we offer all these additional services. All right, so you're already building that rapport with that client. This is what you're getting with us. We're not just a regular tax company. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Come into me and say, well, I can do this with tax law, which reminds me, they opened an office, Tax Depot opened an office at 196.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I said, okay, would your computer program go with you or support you if you were audited?
Mm.
This is what we do. If they opened all year long? Probably not. We are.
Mm-hmm.
This is the services we offer.
Mm-hmm.
Tax Pro, mom and pops don't do that.
Right, and I want you to hold that thought because we're gonna go over the exact same thing you just said, okay? And also ask them, well, what was your refund like last year for federal and for state? What's the reason for that, you think? Look and compare, simply it. So if their refund was $8,000 last year, and you're doing the return, and you notice off the bat, and then you're doing the return, it's coming away like 3,000 or 4,000. You want to ask some more questions. You don't want them to be surprised. What changed? All right. So ask for new people. Ask them these questions. Who did you return last year? Right? Why you didn't like the place? And how much was your refund? When I sit with clients, that's all I ask them when they're brand new. And the majority of my clients are referrals now. And I always ask them the question, well, what happened last time? What happened in the last place? Right? Who did you return last year? Do you have a copy of it? 9 out of 10 times they don't have a copy of it. Well, what was your refund last year? You tell me the refund so I have an idea of what they're looking for.
Or even asking them to send you their copy.
Even after return is done, yeah. Now let's do that too, right? Ask them to send me a copy of last year, just so we could see what we could do if we could find any more benefits. Mm-hmm.
I had a client, actually one of my staff had a client come in and his refund was not even near what his accountant got for him. So we had to ask him to get a copy of that tax return so we could see what the accountant did, but the accountant refused to give him a copy of that tax return. So I said, well, the next best thing we can do is call the IRS and get a copy of your return transcript. But doing that, we found out that the preparer from New York was putting in $45,000 worth of charitable contributions, which is why he got such a nice large refund, because that wiped away all his tax liabilities, everything he got back from his retirement.
So let me ask you a question. If you personally could estimate how many returns you did over that became new clients, how much would you guess? Now you and I haven't had this conversation yet, right?
No.
Okay.
Most returns that I've done over from another store, I would say 100% of them are new clients. I never have. After I do a return and after I educate them, they're clients.
And if you put a number on it, would it be 20, 30, 40, 50 in a given year?
In a given year, it have to be 50, maybe even more.
So my point is, when people come in and Donnie says, all right, let me bring in your last return, let me take a look at it. Sometimes it's nothing they could do, right? Sometimes we can't do anything about it. The fact that she's trying to do that and the fact that she's communicating with them wins her over a client, wins the office over referrals.
And then they refer family members.
And they refer a lot of family members, right? So that's really how you build referrals. Okay, any question on that so far? All right, so now when you're talking about build rapport, we talk about what is called form. And this is actually your thing I learned from you last year, right? So why don't you talk about form? You want to come up here? You want to come up here?
I mean, I don't like it all.
Now, so last year I got the form from Kendria.
All right, so form, it stands for family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. What I miss, those are 4 things that I'm going for so that I can, first of all, build a connection with this person, build a relationship with them, and maintain that. So the way I do it is by asking them about their family. Do you have kids? How old are your kids? And are your kids in any programs and so forth? So that we can have something established, so that we can talk about. And then the next thing is their occupation. People have to talk about themselves. Look at me right now. Right? So, what kind of work do you do? Some people, especially New Yorkers, they don't want to tell you what they do. It's like a big secret, right? So, how long have you been doing it? I met a dentist who was looking into changing careers, and I asked her, why are you looking to change your career? And it just kind of, give you a foundation about the person, who they are, and recreation. What do they love to do? What do they love to do for fun? Some people are crafters, some people, they're florists, different things. Some people are into fitness. It depends, so you build that relationship. So the next time you see that person, you have something that you can run with and build, because for me, it's building, right? And then finally, motivation. People love to work out. I see some people at the gym. Right? So you want to ask different questions, and the more you find out about the person, the deeper that connection is, and the better your business will grow.
Absolutely, yep, absolutely. Yo, round of applause. That was awesome. Let me see. Can you do the next slide for me? Let me see what's the next slide. That was on point. I'm not even gonna even address everything she said is 100% correct. The idea is to form a relationship with a client. Step 2. Now, so we did step 1. Step 1 was pretty lengthy. 15 minutes you should take. Step 2 is discussing the advance. Now, we're going to talk more in detail about the advance tomorrow, but just an FYI, the advance amount is $6,250. Yep. It went up a little bit more, yep. Okay, so we're going to a deeper though, but the things you need to know now is always talk about the advance. And also what you want to do too is have them understand that they could pick, right, the tier. They could pick what tier they want. Right, they do. Last year was, yeah, it was just, yeah, and ideally we thought that they could pick the tier. And I believe a whole bunch of guys were calling me saying, no, they can't pick, the system is picking for them. So this year, you could pick your own, you could pick the tier, okay? Step 3. Step 3 is what? Cash in the flash, okay? And send a friend. All right, so remember, this new send a friend program goes from January 2nd to send a friend. The new one we just talked about earlier, the breakdown. Right. It ends when cash in the flash ends. Another thing too is the whole Facebook checking thing, right? So with Facebook, it's not about likes, it's about actual check-ins. I think we're giving $10 for likes too. I don't know who, I'm just saying, we're giving away a lot of $10 and I see more likes than I see check-ins. Okay, what I'm saying with Facebook, in order to get a $10, you have to check in, not a like. All right, so we will, just for FYI, we'll be watching and making sure that it's being done. If it's not being done correctly, we have to stop it, okay? No, send a friend. That ends when cash and flash ends. Yeah, it ends when cash and flash ends. Right, absolutely, yep. Now, along with step 3 is send a friend. We talked about send a friend. You don't want to say, hey, come to me or come back or refer someone, we'll give you $50. You want to make it a compelling story. Okay, you want to give facts and details about what you're asking for, right? Close the story with a why. It's called the art of asking without asking. Okay, so we already went over the send a friend.
All right, wait. We need a quick lesson on how to do
I figured it out.
How to do what?
check-in.
Check in.
How to check in on Facebook.
Nice. We have one check-in already. Melissa's gonna get $10. All right. So we already went over the details of send a friend. We're gonna go over the script more on Saturday. Okay. Ask engaging question. That's step 4. Now, these are questions that you're required to ask them while you're doing the return. All right. So when I ask this question, I want you to tell me what is it doing to a client? What is it even doing to yourself? Right. If you're happy with the return that I do, would you be willing to refer someone? Tell your friends. Send a friend. That's all it is. Absolutely. You said it perfectly.
I'm gonna be more excited about the new extra money they get. That's what I'm gonna be.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that we have to get cash to the office fast. So I already understand that. Another question you're required to ask them is, what are your plans with the refund? We already know what the plans are. Spend it on bills. Right? So when we ask that question, why do you think we ask that question? Engaging. Mm-hmm. It's looking for one more. Right. Mm-hmm.
It also gives them like excited, like they're about to get their money.
Mm-hmm. All of you are 100% right, but one thing it also does too, it reminds them that they need the money right away. Right? It reminds them like, look, I got to close right now because I can't wait till tomorrow to pay this or pay that. Right? So you want to ask them, what is your plan with this refund? If they say, I got bills to pay, you know there's a good chance they're going to get this wrapped up right now. If they say, I'm going to save it, they're probably going to be shopping around a little bit more. Okay? Next question you want to ask is, do you know anyone who hasn't filed yet? Potential new clients, right? So right away, with your first question matches your third question. If you're happy, would you refer someone to me? Yeah, of course, sure. Right? And then you want to re-emphasize that. Do you know people who hasn't filed yet? Right, give you another opportunity to talk more about this sender friend. Okay? Money right in their hand. Are there any other prizes you think we should add? What does that do to them? Adapting, good, right? It forces them to look at the prize and actually really look at it and say, let me think. Maybe we could add this, that, and third. All right, use those 4 questions and you will always engage your clients. You had a question?
No, especially if they're not like, you have clients that pay attention and you have those that browse.
Right, that's another thing too, right?
That last question is going to be what makes them, because I'm like, why are you giving this away? As soon as I see you giving something away, I'm going to know it's not for nothing. So now I want to know why. And they give an opportunity to read the sender friend. Then their questions will come in. So how many people I got to rent? And I get this money today. It just makes you go back and talk about it.
It helps them, it helps them stay focused on what you want them to be focused on. All right, step 5, refund minus fees. Refund minus fees, refund minus fees. Why do we write down the refund minus fees? And again, you guys know this, all right? It's for when you're telling your people this, okay? Why do you write down refund minus fees?
So that they won't know about the amount of money that they're going to see and the amount of money that they're actually going to receive.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because that's the number that's going to stick in their head.
That's the number that's going to stick in their head. When you tell a person a number, a dollar amount, that's all they think about. Everything after that conversation is blah, 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 blah. They don't hear anything else, right? So that's the main reason why we say refund minus fees. They write on the back of a business card. We write it down so they can actually see it, okay? We forward them to the hotline number. If you have any question, call this number. At the end of the day, I don't want people calling the office. I want them calling the customer service number that we have. All right, any questions on that? Yeah.
When you give them the number, and they ask how much are you charging, and sometimes they don't. And if they don't, we just don't tell them.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over that. I want you to hold that thought too, because we're gonna talk about that in probably in about 2 slides. Is that me? That's my yeah, thanks. This is my motivation time. So every time I hear this number, see this sound, I focus on something motivating. I'm focusing on you guys right now because you guys are motivating me. All right, step 6 is give them the $50 before they sign any paperwork. Okay, now Darlene says she puts them on the desk so you can see it. Either or is fine. Okay. Well, can someone answer that question? Why do you think we give them before they sign?
They want more money. Yeah. It right there, like you have to sit right there. They want to sign. And then they plot, and then it's showing them that, yeah, think this, what gift you want. Think about that. They thinking about that. They thinking about the money. They thinking about the extra money that you sitting here right now.
Once you put that 50 in somebody's hand, the one thing they thinking about is if they don't finish, we can take it. So they prone to keep going.
So what you're doing is you're pretty much assuming the sale. You assume everything is done, everything is wrapped up, everything is ready to go. If you don't do that and say, hey, your refund is X amount, this is your fees, what do you want to do? Giving the client options. You want to give client options. You want to close them. Okay? You ever been to a restaurant and the restaurant has a menu with four or 5 pages? That's so annoying. There are too many options for me. Just give me one menu with 3 options for each type of food. All right? So you want to give the client the cash before they sign any paperwork. Ask them to take a picture. Okay? Reintroduce them about the Facebook tag again. Okay? And then review the 50/50 form with the client. All right? The send you on that 50/50 form talks about the sender firm breakdown. It goes over what the net check amount is, which is your refund minus your fees. And it also talks about the customer service number. You want to go through all that form with the client. Step 7 is sign the forms. All right, take your topaz out and sign everything they need. Okay, verify with the client, the client package is signed. You're just reassuring the client. Go to the client package, make sure everything is signed. Give them a send a friend fly from the desk, and ask the client again, hey, you're gonna get a survey text, please give me a perfect score. Okay, any questions on that? Go ahead. All right, so after the client leaves, what do? Okay, we said this earlier, everyone is scanning. So once the client is done, the person gets up from the desk and scans the paperwork. All right, once they're done scanning, put it into the file and file it away. The next thing is complete the 1-minute completed return questionnaire. You're gonna learn more about that tomorrow. Okay, but there's an FYI, all it does is sends an automatic text to the client saying, thank you, please give us a review.
You want to do that right away.
Right. All right, and then we talked about this too, a 24-hour follow-up call. Okay, we don't have to do it that time, but just remember that this person should have a follow-up call from you by tomorrow. Okay? Any questions? All right, handling objections. Now, if you follow the 7 steps, you will close 9 out of 10 times. All right? It's all about building trust with the client, making it a more of a personal experience. A lot of clients buy with their heart. Okay? It's like buying a new car. You ever buy a new car and be like, damn, I wish I didn't buy a new car. You never did that? Yeah, okay, let me rephrase that. You ever bought anything and said, you know what, I have buyer's remorse. I wish I didn't buy that. Right? But you just felt compelled to buy it. Okay? Now, will you always have an unhappy client? The answer is yes. There will always be clients that are price choppers. Expect clients to be unhappy. That's just life. Okay? But there are only 2 reasons, or 2 major reasons why client has objections, which are what? Lack in confidence. That's the 2 main reasons, right? If they give you any other reasons why, it's because you felt in this point and they looking for a cover-up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. When you have an objection, it's a second chance to make a first impression, right? So when you have your objection, what you want to do at this point is redo some of the stuff you did to build rapport, right? You want to go over the written guarantee. Let them know that we're open 24 hours, right? Let them know that we're here to help you with audits. You want to review the need to know sheet. Okay, you want to turn the computer over at this time and show them the amount of credits that they're receiving. Okay, you want to explain to them, again, the advance comes in 24 to 48 hours. Okay, now one of the objections you may hear is the fee's too high, right? If you hear that, it's okay to ask, well, what were you expecting to pay? Mm-hmm. You may get that. You know what? I don't even know what I said. I don't know what I said if someone told me that, to be honest. It's like, huh? Say that again? Right. So if there's a fee issue, just ask, whatever issue there is, you should ask them why they have that issue. You know, I'm just using fee as an example. But what would you?
What did they pay last?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't ever ask what do you expect to pay. I said, what did you pay last?
That's a good way to say it too. Well, what did you pay last year? And you're gonna get that a lot with new clients. What did you pay last year? Okay. Another thing too is ask them, and they may be unhappy with the refund. If they're unhappy with the fee, it's because they're unhappy with the refund.
Right.
Okay, so I asked them, what were you expecting your refund to be? Okay, now another thing you could do too is ask them, if I increase your refund from $3,249 to $3,299, would you be happy with that? We're doing a discount, but we're not saying the word discount. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, so this is the way you handle objections. Find out what the objections are and combat it. Okay, you don't want them just to walk out. Let them understand what they're getting, okay? So when you're discounting returns, we never use the word discount. We ask them, if the fee goes up by this amount, the refund goes up by this amount, would that be fine with you? And wait for them to answer. Okay, now just an FYI, tax pros will be allowed to discount $50 to $75, but it's a case-by-case situation. I don't want anyone to be discount happy. Okay, you can still give the cash in the flash, but cannot be excessive. For example, if you have someone in your office that's discounting giving cash in the flash over and over again, then it's something you have to stop and see what's going on, because this person doesn't know how to close. All right, your office manager is allowed to discount from 100 to 125. Any questions with that so far? You guys, again, are good closers. It's not you, it's your people. All right, so about our fees. Why do we charge what we charge? Right? So how many times do you see a typical client in a year? Some say one, twice.
I have twice in Walmart, Shopper, I see them once a month.
Right, so, but you will have clients that you probably wish you never did the return. Right, you're gonna have a few clients that you do the return, and by the time they send you through this whole hoopla, the return is gonna be free because all the time you put into it. Okay, so there's a lot of cost that goes into that. Also, FMS debt. Okay, we have to project how much money that we put out there that we're not getting back. Okay, costs to operate the office. We talked about break even. Right? If our fees are not what they are, we cannot have an office. And that's just business in general, right? Market comparison. We are in line with H&R Block and Jackson Hewitt. We are not in line with mom and pops at the end of the day.
I also tell people with H&R Block, they charge you for copies.
They charge a sitting fee for H&R Block.
Yes.
Right? If to sit with a client to do a return, you have to pay them, I think, $50. Yeah. So they charge a sitting fee with H&R Block. Right, and these are all things you could say. You know, H&R Block does it cheaper. No, they don't. Okay? And building value in our fees. Okay? So now you're gonna have a situation where someone says, all right, the fee, well, before we get to the fees too high, okay. So you're gonna have a situation where a client says, the fee is too much. Now, at what point would it tell you the fee is too much? Right, so once you're given the 50, right, they sign everything too, and I think you asked a question, after they sign, they say, okay, just tell me what the fees are. Now, a lot of times, especially in the beginning of the year, they just wanna know your fee came out the refund. Did your fee come out the refund? Did my fee come out the refund? You taking care of it, right? You good? So this is exactly what I'm getting, right? That's usually how the conversation goes, about 85% of the time. There's 15% of the time where it goes the other way, okay? And they want to know, well, just tell me what my fees. I want to know how much I paid, right? So when does that conversation was supposed to come up? At what point during the closing the 7 steps? Let me just rephrase that question. Okay, so it should happen right around here, step 7. Okay, because you're engaging a client, your refund minus fees is here, You give him the 50. Here, this is your refund amount. This is what you expect as a direct deposit. Go ahead. This is what you expect as a direct deposit, a check that's going to come to you. You get up, you go to the back, you give him the $50. Here's your 50. Oh, excited, I got my 50, yay, right? Go over the 50-50 form with the client, they start to sign. At that point, there's less discussion, and the client usually asks around this time, what's my fee? If they do ask, right? So, and this happened to me before, right? So, client will come, I do all this work, and client will says, all right, Randy, so what's my fee? How much, I just want to know how much, you know, you charge me, all right? Hey, Mike, I charge you $400 to do this tax return. Oh, wow, that's kind of pricey, right? Actually, Michael, no, it's not. Because, and I go over all the stuff here that we do for them, or that I personally do for them. I said, well, Michael, if you really think about it, well, I'm gonna use you, Onika, you're right here in front of me. Onika, not really, if you really think about it, you know, we're here all year round, so if you have any problems, you can always call me directly. You know, we have IRS letters or IRS issues, I'm always here from you. Even if you have personal financial stuff that you want to talk about. You know, I'm a CPA, and you can ask me any question you want to ask me. We also do other services as personal and business insurance, small business corporation. So whatever you need, think of us as a one-stop shop. That's pretty much it, right? So a client will understand the value if you explain the value to them perfectly. If they think all you do is press a button to file taxes, they're gonna assign a value to that. But if they know, well, this guy doesn't just press a button to file taxes, he's doing this, that, and the third, he's handling this, that, and the third for me, he's doing all these things behind the scene for me, this person is very, very valuable to me. And that's why a lot of clients only want to see me. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay.
You know, in the program, it actually breaks down the form. It breaks it down in like large detail. So when you turn that page and let them see it, it's not like 1 or 2, 3 forms. They have like 15, 20 forms on there. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Really, yeah, so that's showing charisma when I was doing it. It's the whole page. So it's a really, you turn that and say, this is what you're paying for.
Yeah, if you haven't practiced on Phoenix yet, you really should get on it as soon as possible, because they have, the way it's broken down, the way you follow closing the sale is really good on the new Phoenix software, okay? But the point is to understand how we close and why we close this way. Any questions so far? All right, last pay stub procedures. Okay, we are still doing returns based on last pay stub. You can still give them $50 on last pay stub, but the return has to be complete. They cannot walk out with the $50 and they have not signed on anything for a last pay stub. Okay? When you have a last pay stub, the return is completed, mark the return and review, put the last pay stub in the waiting for W-2 box in the back. Okay? And then we'll follow with you, let you know when it's okay to file that return. Normally around January 28th. We'll push all those returns out. Any questions on that?
We still telling them that we need the W-2 to file for the advance?
Yes. That's another thing too. And I'm glad you brought that up. I thought I put it here somewhere, but we're not sending returns out with W-2s we're not sending returns out with last pay stubs at all. First of all, at all. Second of all, we're letting the client know that you cannot get the advance until you bring over the W-2. Okay? So no W-2, no advance. As soon as you bring the W-2 in, get the advance. All right, return on hold procedures. Now return on hold go on hold for the following reasons: missing information or missing a W-2. Again, if the client leaves with the original paperwork, it's a walkout. Okay? Thank you. It's a customer retention opportunity. Good job. Okay? There should be no other reason why your return should be stopped from being filed. Okay? Normally, one of the things too that happen is when you're filing a return as a married couple, one of the spouse will always come and the other spouse will stay at home because they don't want to deal with the tax office. Okay? Now, when I see that spouse and they file a return, I let them sign for the other spouse. So if it's a wife, and a lot of times it's the wife, I let them sign for the husband, but I do ask them to text them a copy of their IDs, just so I can feel comfortable. If I know the person, I'm fine. If I don't know the person, I do ask for an ID. So my point I'm trying to say is there should be no other reason other than a W-2 waiting for another form that return is on hold. Any questions with that? Okay, so we are making perfect time. Let's take another 10-minute break. Charisma's gonna come up, knock out 4-wall marketing, and we are good to go. It's hot in here.